What is up, guys? It is Carly here bringing you day 19 of my 31 Days of Horror, and today I'm going to be talking about another sequel here, and that is The Invisible Man Returns. I have seen The Invisible Man before and have covered it on podcasts and whatnot, so had not seen any of the sequels though. So Invisible Man Returns, you are essentially started out with this character who, of course, you guessed I forget the name already. He has been wrongly accused of murdering his brother, and he is sentenced to death. So this sympathetic doctor injects him with this serum or formula, whatever you want to call it, and it makes him invisible. And of course, much like the first one, the major side effect to this invisibility potion is you slowly go mad. So that's kind of the movie here. You have a bunch of little side things going on here with trying to capture the Invisible Man as well as these other side characters. This movie, I thought it was pretty well made. It's another one of those later, Universal Monsters movies where it just seems like there's a lot more going on than the, as opposed to the, original few that you got there where the story is very basic and to the point. This one actually runs an hour and 21 minutes, I believe, so where the other ones are just a little bit over an hour, barely, and I feel like it has a solid plot idea. I feel like there are a lot of different characters in it that make it a little bit confusing at times, but other than that, I find it to be pretty entertaining. I think the effect of the Invisible Man is always really astounding and impressive for especially that time period. I think it just looks fantastic, and it's actually really creepy too. There is a scene where he kind of takes the bandages off his eyes, or the wrap, whatever you want to call it, off his eyes, and you see there's nothing there, and I think it's just really creepy, those scenes where you actually just see little bits of his face, and you see there's actually nothing underneath all the clothing he's wearing. And so yeah, I think that's pretty well done. Speaking of effects, there's also a scene at the very ending where the Invisible Man kind of transforms back into, his regular human form, and I think that is really well done as well. It's definitely an upgrade from what you get in the first movie because you actually see veins, and it's a very good gradual progression into what he really looks like. It's not the most realistic thing, but I think it's, once again, pretty well done for the time being. But yeah, the story in general, I did find entertaining. There's definitely a little bit more comedy in it, and also parts that might come off as comedic that I don't know if they were supposed to. Like, there's the part where the man has a gun, and of course he's invisible, so it's just like this floating gun coming after this guy, and it just comes off as really kind of funny looking. But there are, it seems like, more points in the movie where it kind of shows stuff like floating in the air, like the guys using the phone and stuff like that, that are pretty interesting. There's also a part where the doctor injects the Invisible Man with a needle while he is, of course, invisible, and that actually, kind of freaked me out. It was like grossing me out. He's like, oh, this feels like a vein, and then it's like putting a needle in invisibility. I don't know, something about that like just freaked me out, him saying he felt the vein, but that was kind of just a cool moment, seeing someone try to put a needle into nothingness, which of course is supposed to be a solid arm. Thought it was kind of believable, honestly, but yeah, really the only issues I guess I have with the movie are that there are a good amount of characters and a good amount of more story kind of going on, which isn't a bad thing because, like I said, some of these movies come off as a little bit boring because there might not be a ton really happening in them. But at the same time, I feel like I would need to give this one a rewatch to fully grasp the entire plot, or just read like a plot synopsis or something like that. But other than that, I think it's pretty solid sequel. Of course, the first one is superior. I feel like I got entertained by both of them pretty much on equal levels, but the first movie, just the whole storyline behind it seems a little more well put together, despite it being like basic. But give this one a 7 out of 10. Do recommend it. I think Invisible Man is one of the best of the Universal Monsters just because it's such a cool concept and it's well executed. So 7 out of 10 for Invisible Man Returns. Thank you guys once again for joining me for day 19 here of my 31 Days of Horror, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 20.